Good afternoon, everyone. I am just honored to be here, and I want to thank Michelle, of course, from Alternative Balance and the whole Alternative Balance team for allowing us to share our gifts and our knowledge with each other. And I have a really cool story. One of the very first ones that I attended was I found this person that I totally resonated with, and I hired her immediately. So that was a really that was a blessing to have resources that were trusted that came through this platform. So just thank you for that and that opportunity. It was a blessing for sure. So again, I'm Bonnie Schnautz. A little bit about my background is that I started non-conventionally. I wasn't in holistic health. I was in sales and marketing for about 20 some years. I loved most of my jobs, and my undergrad in college was in marketing as well, business marketing. So I loved my jobs, but the lack of creativity and the lack of freedom just wasn't serving me. And I had healed my body of a lot of health issues of allergies and asthma and IBS and severe hormonal imbalance, depression, anxiety. I was given a pill for an ill, and that didn't work for me. The side effects were worse than some of the conditions that I had. So not to say medicine is bad by any means, but I was able to come off that heal naturally. And today I've been 20 years medication free and over the counter free. So, and that's really one of my values is freedom. And there really is freedom in that and not having to be dependent. So that's really what I share. I mostly work with women, but I do see men as well, but usually typically it's women 40 plus, and that's as my background is as a naturopathic doctor and digestive health specialist. I do a lot of work around the gut and digestive health. So, but I'm also a certified positive intelligence coach, as you can see here as well. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today, because this was a huge aha for me. So I went back to school after I was in the workforce for 20 some years and received my ND, naturopathic doctor degree from Trinity in Indianapolis, Trinity School of Natural Health, a phenomenal school. I highly recommend it. Loomis Institute was the next area of training, which was as trained as a digestive health specialist. So, and then recently last year, I completed my positive intelligence coach certification. And I'll tell you how I came to that. That wasn't in the plan at all. So again, this year marks my 15th year anniversary in business. So I've experienced, I would say, a lot of success. I'm not telling you that to brag. I'm telling you that because, this whole talk is about reducing negative thoughts, and you can be successful having negative thoughts in your business. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be as fulfilling because you're never really going to be satisfied. You're never really going to have that happiness and that sense of purpose and fulfillment. There was a lot of unworthiness. There was a lot of fear. And finally, I figured it out. And how I did that was through that PQ assessment. So if you did your PQ assessment, I'd love to hear in the chat if you were able to complete that 5-minute assessment. And we can talk about that in a bit, but that was my aha. I thought I was a positive person. Wow. Okay. That told me otherwise, but I knew there was hope. I knew I just needed a plan, and this was the plan for me. And it's dramatically increased my personal growth and my clients, more importantly. So, and over the years, I started to see this trend with my clients that they were there was like a percentage that were getting fantastic results, like boom, did the program, the protocol, healed, whatever, reduced symptoms, whatever that looked like, lost the weight, gut health was resolved. And there was a percentage that it wasn't working. I'm thinking, it's the same protocol. I know everyone's different, or similar protocol. It's never exactly the same. Similar protocols, the same premise. Why was it not working? And that's when I did my PQ test, and I realized the things that were holding me back. And again, that was the same thing that was holding my clients back. And if any of you do work in emotional healing or any form of therapy or consulting, I'm not a therapist, but we know there's a direct correlation between the mental, emotional, and the physical aspects of our health. So that was my aha. But instead, because at that point I had so much negativity, about 62% of my day was spent in negative thought. That's what I learned from my PQ assessment. I was judging. I was thinking, what's wrong with me? Like, am I a bad consultant or a bad practitioner? What's wrong with them? Right? So that's another kind of a negative thought that we have, what's wrong with them, and what's wrong with my program, right? We see things wrong with the circumstance. So although all those things would be relevant, it's healthier and I guess a little bit more productive to have a thought of discernment. So discerning, well, I wonder what I could do differently. I wonder how I could help them or how I could serve them differently. So you can see there's a distinct difference in those two approaches, right? Discernment versus judgment. But I was in judge mode. Um, and again, I thought I was a positive person, but you don't know what you don't know, right? Because that was kind of how I was, almost 50 years old at that point. Like that's what I knew. So that was my aha moment. And it was really discouraging. It was a little bit of a gut punch. I thought, how can I be helping clients at my highest level when I'm feeling this way? So what I want to share today is this. Is this kind of this outline. This is what I hope to convey is number one, why do we struggle with all these negative thoughts? What is the research and the results of that? Number three, the benefits of the shift. When you make that shift out of negative to positive for the majority, it's never going to be perfect, right? And those three key areas, and then kind of that how and the structure. So before we go into that, this is the interactive part. So I'm going to ask you, what percentage of our day, or first of all, how many thoughts do you think we have in a day in a 24-hour period? So if you can put that in the chat, I'm not sure if I'm seeing, okay, there's the chat. Okay. Let me know in the chat what percentage of your day you feel like, how many thoughts do you have in a day? Any guesses? You can cheat, but you can Google, but just guess anything. Anybody? Okay. So let me okay. This is it. Okay, hold on. I'm not getting them. Okay, there it is. Okay, awesome. 1 million, 30 to 40,000. Good, good, good. Jen, 50,000, 500,000. Okay, awesome. Good, good guesses. Okay. So, okay, here it is. Well, let me, all right. So our thoughts, your mind has produced anywhere from 10,000 to 70,000 thoughts in the last 24 hours. 10,000 to 70,000. I tell people I'm pretty sure mine are going about a 70,000 because they never stop. Never stop. Some of you are laughing that know me well. But think about, so that's like 500 an hour. Isn't that crazy? 500 an hour. So what percentage, right, of those are negative? 60 to 70%. Oh goodness, 60 to 7%. And that's exactly where I was at. I was at that 60 to 70% mark. So again, kind of made me feel better, but then part of it was like, still, I wanted to do better. So that's the part of the pie, the unhappy part of the pie. So the three impact areas that I talked about, how are these negative thoughts impacting our day? Well, they impact our performance. They impact our wellness, our health, right? And of course, our relationships. Those are the three key areas that that's what we want to focus on in life, right? Because that's our business. That's our health. Health is everything, as we know, because that's what we're all about, right? Mental, physical, emotional health. And we know that through studies that 200 different studies concluded that when you have a higher PQ score, and that's that PQ assessment that you either have hopefully took, I know several of you have taken it. It's a scale of 1 to 100 where 75 is kind of that, that's doing very well. So if you get closer to that 75, that's something to celebrate. Even if you took it, you still celebrate that because we want to focus on, the good that we're doing because it's all good. And for you showing up here, celebrate that because you are here. So with that, we know higher PQ leads to higher salary, greater success in the areas of work, marriage, health, sociability, friendship, and creativity. So, is there really any other areas that we need to cover? And is there anything else that we need to know? Because it's based on neuroscience. So that's the power of our mind, right? Either good or bad. And what's happening is that we're on autopilot, right? Again, like I said, I had no idea our mind is running on autopilot. Some of that is good, some of it is not so good, not so helpful. Okay. So every single day, we know that we're either actively sabotaging one of these three, or we're staying in what we call sage or positive mode, where we're enhancing our life. We're being more creative, more productive, more loving. So again, every single day we are sabotaging these three areas if we're staying in that, in that range of, in that, that higher range. So and the reason is that because we're not in command of our mind, right? Our mind is running us instead of us running our mind. And that again involves self-sabotage, and we're not even recognizing it. So what is the solution, right? The solution is to develop that self-command. And as a result, you'll derive incredible benefits in your wellness, your performance, and your relationships. Okay, so it's what is happening here is that our brain is doing what our brain does, right? And it's trying to protect us. So those negative thoughts are coming from the left brain, and the positive emotions and thoughts are coming from the right brain. So the left brain is trying to motivate us through negative emotions, through fear, through stress, and anger, guilt, shame, and insecurity, where growing up, or as we, when we were born, as we're, going through our early years, this was helpful, right? To don't walk off the ledge, or, don't touch the fire, or, whatever that looks like. So it was protecting us. But it comes to a point in our lives where, okay, we know those things. We don't need to relive those. And the example I liked to share, this is a perfect example. Let's say, and preparing for this presentation, I could have done one or two things. I could have not even put my presentation together and said, you know what, I'm just going to wing it. I'll just figure it out when I get there. That wouldn't be a good thing to do, right? That's, you could think, well, that's, she's not worrying about it. Or I could have stayed up all night, stressing about it, worrying about it, not gotten sleep, had 6 cups of coffee to get me through the morning, and come here totally unprepared. So we want a happy medium, right? The thought that, okay, I need to prepare for my presentation. Okay, so I'm going to spend time on that. I'm going to practice it, make sure my timing is, appropriate, all those things. My presentation is clear. Without going into that negative mindset of, oh my gosh, are they going to like me? Or is it going to be good? Are they going to accept, all those things that I probably would have, I'd not say probably, I would have done in the past. I wouldn't have stayed up all night and not slept, but you see where I'm going with that. So staying in the sage part, or the love and positive emotions, and that right brain is going to encourage empathy and curiosity and creativity with passion and purpose. So that's just a lot better place to be, right? Because we know with our clients, for those of you in wellness, physical, emotional, that has a massive impact on our health and life. So some people say, well, aren't negative emotions good for you? Well, they're only helpful, like I said, for that second. So once I remember, okay, I have a presentation to prepare for, I can schedule on my calendar. It's that critical reminder that something needs my attention, and then I'm going to address it. Sometimes the avoider, we'll talk about that. They have an avoider. Sometimes, like, maybe I put it off a little bit too long in the week. I should have done it earlier. Those things will come into play, but staying in that negative emotion hurts your ability to really see clearly and be laser focused. I hear that. I don't know if you hear it, if you're, in the wellness space, you hear that. I get that a lot from women. It's like, I can't focus, things are really hard. So that tells me they're probably being hijacked by some of their saboteurs. So again, more than a second, you don't want to dwell there, right? We want to acknowledge something needs attention or something may not be as well as it should be. I don't want to say wrong or bad because we don't know that for a fact, but okay. So again, when I talk about positive intelligence or PQ, we also call it mental fitness. The definition of that is your capacity to respond to life's challenges with positive versus negative mindset. And that sounds really simplistic, and it really is, but it's easy to discuss, hard to enact or into shift into that automatic. And that's where building your PQ muscles. It's like going to the gym. You practice it every single day. I do, at least, or I try to most days. I can't say every single day, but most days I practice this. I do my reps, my PQ reps, and I incorporate it as part of my lifestyle. So you're building that muscle. You don't go to the gym twice a week or once for 6 weeks and then you say, I'm done. Yep, good, got some muscles there. You have to continue to build your muscle so that when life hits you, and it will, we've got the economy, we're going into political season, like we can open our phones and social media or the news will hit us. So life is going to continue to happen, but how quickly you can respond from that, and think about it from a business perspective. If you lose a client in the past, I probably would have been devastated, angry. And this literally happened last night. Had a client sign on before the night was over. She emailed me. She's like, I really can't do it right now. We're getting ready to move. I'm going to do this in January. So I probably would have been frustrated, angry, really sad. And, I responded a lot healthier than I would have in the past. And I said, I want what's best for her. I want it to be the right time. And it's not a bad thing, because if she would have come on and not been fully present and not gotten results, that would have been much worse. So just being able to respond to those situations makes our life easier. And I could have projected that to my clients, which I felt, they feel our energy, right? Coming across whether we're sad or mad or angry or frustrated, they sense that. So I think that was a beautiful example. I will thank God for that. I got to share this. Yay, I lost a client, but I had one and then I lost it, but it's okay. So I want to take a second to walk you through. Again, a PQ rep is shifting your attention as much as possible to your body and any of your five senses for at least 10 seconds. So we do what we call lifestyle reps, and those are just incorporated into your day. So you're not going into a room, locking yourself in the dark and having to, meditation is phenomenal. I love it, but we don't always have time for that. And this is something you could do in the nooks and crannies and in life. Whether you're driving down the road, you can do the PQ reps, whether you're just, during your workday. I had a court stenographer as a client, and she was typing, of course, she was in a courtroom, and the only thing she could do is move her feet and her toes and do these reps. So for her, that was a huge gift, that she was able to kind of let go of some of the things she was holding on to and do those PQ reps to self-command and stay out of that negative. Because you can imagine in a courtroom how stressful that could be. Okay, so I want you to take a minute. If you're able to, with me, just close your eyes for a minute. And whether you're standing or sitting, just kind of start to notice your feet. We'll start with your feet, and we're just going to go use some of our senses and notice how your feet feel on the floor. And just notice your toes. Be aware of your toes. You could probably wiggle your toes. That's a good way to acknowledge them and be aware of them. So wiggle your toes. If you're seated, notice how your bum feels on the seat. Is it soft? Is it hard? Do you need to relax back a little bit? And think about your shoulders. How do your shoulders feel? Do they need to come down from your ears? Do they need to be relaxed? You can rest your hands on your thighs. And then just for a moment, we're just going to be silent. And I want you to listen for sound. So we're going to use our sense of hearing. And I want you to listen for anything, any sounds you hear in your area. It could be a far away sound, could be a close up sound. It could be the sound of your own breathing. And then while we're here, go ahead and take a couple deep breaths. And then go ahead and move your hands off your lap, rub your hands together, rub the palm of your hands together, and then rub your fingertips together. And then you can feel those sensations of your fingertips or of your palms. You can continue to also notice if there's any sounds. And then take one more deep breath and open your eyes. Now, did you feel any stress or any worry, or were you completely self-commanding your mind to do what you wanted it to do, to relax and focus on your body as much as possible, right? So that's taking command. So as life comes at you, as things happen, in little as 10 seconds, and 10 seconds, if to make it completely simple, is about 3 breaths. So if even you can take 3 breaths, but even thinking about in the morning, first thing when you wake up, if you use your phone for an alarm, you can use the sense of touch to, if you turn your alarm off, you can feel your phone. What does that feel like? And just remember to start your day. When you start your day in that higher state, that sets the tone for your whole day. I tell people it's like the breakfast that you eat. It's so important to set that foundation. And when you do that, most of your day will go a lot better. Now, they don't last. So I would say maybe around noon again. I like to focus them around waking up and then maybe eating lunch or breakfast. There was a gentleman that lost 100 pounds. Now, he wasn't my client, but he just by utilizing PQ reps, he did nothing else, but incorporating PQ reps into his 3 meals, he would focus on the sensation, the feel, the taste of that food, which gave him greater enjoyment. So obviously he ate less, slowed down, especially if you're a fast eater. If you're in the chomp chomp swallow program, sometimes I go there, just being the hyperachiever I am. So that's the power of mental fitness and PQ reps. So I hope you got a sense of what that is. And again, so anytime you come across, you notice your mind going in a place that it shouldn't be. Now, I want to talk about the saboteurs. There's one main saboteur called the judge. And I talked about this early on when I was judging myself, I was judging clients, and I was judging my program. So it was that, that constant, what's wrong with me, what's wrong with you, and what's wrong with this event. So if you catch yourself doing those things, that's when you want to do those PQ reps. So first of all, I would say acknowledge it and celebrate, because now those are lies of the saboteur. That's not the truth. That's not who we are in our essence, right? Because we're still that child, that inner core, that love. And we'll go into that a little bit more. But the judge creates anxiety and anger and guilt and blame and shame and fear and all the bad stuff, the stress, right? So that's something that we want to acknowledge. So there are 9 other accomplice saboteurs. You don't have to know the names. And I tell people, if not, just know the judge is the main saboteur and focus on that. And again, when I say saboteur, I'm talking about negative thoughts. Just keep it that simple. So here are the 9 saboteurs. So as you took your assessment, you may have noticed that these were scored on a rating scale of 1 to 10. So 1 would be low, they don't have much of an impact in your life. 10 would be they would have a very strong impact on your life. Again, I would say this is not who you are. These are your saboteurs. These are things that we all have them, but it's how we allow them to control our lives versus us controlling how, their actions. So, and what happens is that someone else's saboteurs will trigger yours. So that's why being able to take control is so important. I can share a story of my husband. My husband has a very high hyper rational and stickler saboteur. Those are two of his higher saboteurs. And so I would say, oh, well, we got to move the chair here a couple inches, or the chair is 2 inches from the wall. That's my example. He would say, no, it's 2 and 3/8 or whatever, 2 and 3/8. I'm like thinking, okay. And then I say, oh, it looks like I think I read it's gonna, there's a 40% chance of rain today. And he would say, no, it's like 42%. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And at first I thought, why is he doing this to me? Again, I took it personal. I thought, what is wrong with him, right? Judge, what is wrong with him? And after he did this assessment, and again, he's been in finances pretty much his whole career. So if that explains anything, they need to be detail oriented, and that's a gift for him, again, unless it's taken too far. So he took the assessment. I realized this, and I'm a bit hyper rational as well. So his saboteur was triggering mine, which made it was a very rocky period. And once I recognized that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's not him. It's his saboteurs. We talked about it. We discussed it, and, does he still do it once in a while? Absolutely. But it doesn't bother me at all. He's a very kind, loving, generous man. Like, he is not, he's not trying to belittle me or make me feel bad. It's just, like I said, those are just things that, part of who we are. So recognizing that really, and that goes back to that improving those relationships, right? How powerful this can be. So I use the saboteur, or the both the saboteur and the PQ assessment with team or potential team before I interview. I use it with clients in the discovery session. I have them take it before they come to their discovery session. So even though I may be talking about their gut health, that area of stress tells me, it's like, are they a victim? Are they a constant pleaser? That's predominant with a lot of women. Not mine definitely isn't. You'll see that. But or your spouse or significant other, and think like our relationship improved like 100 times. I can't even tell you how much better it was after we understood each other. So, and then along with the saboteurs, we have, again, that's the left brain, the negative. The positive is that sage, and the sage powers that we have they help us to activate and to empathize and to explore and innovate and navigate. And that generates positive emotions, the peace and calm, the clear-headed focus, creativity. That allows for me, just even this situation, being able to present and not be terrified, and that, because there had been a time where I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to present, because that's scary, right? We tell ourselves how, oh, it's going to be hard. I have to present. I have to do so many things. Instead of saying, you know what, I have a gift to share. This is going to be good. I'm going to be able to bless people, and just seeing it for what it really is. And what that goes back to is really, again, who we are and who we were as a child before life and our environment kind of got a hold of us, and our saboteurs have taken over and hijacked us in many ways. Okay, so the PQ process is about recognizing, again, the negative thoughts, tapping into the love, the empathy, the true essence of who we are, and then the self-command. And I really want to encourage you, when you recognize the saboteurs and you start hearing those things, is to celebrate it. Because when you get into that happy, do a happy dance, put on some music and exaggerate, to the nth degree, because that is going to take you into that place of love, and that's going to break that cycle. And then again, that's the self-command component of it, that you're making that shift. And what we usually recommend is at least 15 minutes a day for the first 6 to 8 weeks of the, we provide guided support, plus an app that goes with it. And we apply it. It's not just you read it, you actually have to apply it, right? Success is about implementation. Um, and that requires consistent practice. And this is feedback that I received from one of my clients. She says, I'm recognizing my negative patterns. I know I needed to get out of my head, but I didn't know how. Now I have an app and support, so everything is there. And that's the beauty. It is really all in one. Okay, so full transparency, this is my first assessment that I took. As I mentioned, 62% of my day was spent in stress. So I only had 38% in happiness and joy. And these, again, and these numbers will change, and your saboteur results will change, and you're always going to have the 9 typically. I mean, they're there, but they're going to jockey, what I call jockey for position, because this, like the avoider was pretty high up, and I usually don't see the avoider that high. So I'm not sure exactly what was going on that day in July of 2023, but those were my 2 assessments. And so with that, hyperachiever is very common with entrepreneurs, because sometimes we're a little bit driven. So that you may see the controller, you may see restless. My restless is usually a little bit higher, but these numbers have come down compared to what they were. I'm really super happy with my controller, because my controller, I think, actually was probably my top saboteur. So really happy to see that one go down. And I laugh because my pleaser, like I'm definitely not in pleaser mode, because my hyperachiever is trying to do anything and it's not worrying about making anybody happy at that point. So that kind of makes me smile. So if you haven't taken it's a wealth of information, and you'll keep that first one as your benchmark. So that's the beauty of it. So tapping into your sage, tapping into the positive. And if you think about, I call it pets and peds, children and puppies, right? Pets. For me, there's nothing that makes me happier than an animal. My husband knows if I'm out walking and there's an animal within a mile, that I'm going to throw, if I'm carrying a bag or anything, and I'm going to leave him, because I'm going to go see the pet or the puppy, whatever it is, because I love animals. And of course, I love children. This is my granddaughter. She's 18 months old, and she makes me very happy too. She's just, and you think about the essence and the beauty of who they are, right? They're innocent, they're pure, they don't judge, they love unconditionally. And that's who we used to be. Probably didn't used to be a dog, but that child of who we were. And the perspective of sage is that every circumstance, every outcome can be turned into a gift and an opportunity. And that's really what you have to believe. And this is a good analogy, is that Bailey was our English bulldog. We lost her March 15th on a Monday. She was 13 years old. And I'll probably get a little tore up here. And we lost my mom on that Friday. So that was 2 major losses. And trying to turn something, because people will say that how you can't turn everything into a gift. How is someone dying or someone, my belief is they're going on someplace better, because I do believe, there's a saying, all dogs go to heaven, and I truly believe that. And I know that, Bailey, number 1, is out of pain. And at 13, for a bulldog, she lived an incredibly long life and a very healthy life. We did everything under the sun we could do, and that's part of life, right? And then with my mom was 100 years old. So obviously she lived an incredibly full life as well. Her mind was super strong, but her body was giving out, and and you want to hold on to them, right? And we know we can't, but so again, there was a gift there. I know I know where she is now. I know she's hanging out with my dad, and they are having the time of their life because they're together again. So again, that brings me great, great joy, where I could take a circumstance, which is very difficult, and especially in 1 week, and turn that into a gift. Now, granted, that did not happen within a couple days. That definitely took me some time to process all that grief, and that's normal and healthy. But again, it's how long are we staying there, because we want to be able to go on with our lives, because that's what our loved ones would want for us, right? So, and even the Bible says it has 50 verses about how God turns bad things into good. So I love that. Okay, so the health benefits, the physical health benefits are incredible. Research has shown that higher PQ results in enhanced immune system functioning, lower levels of cortisol, lower blood pressure, less pain, fewer colds, better sleep, and a smaller likelihood of having hypertension, diabetes, and strokes. And I know this is a fact because I've seen it with my clients, I've seen it with myself. I've eaten clean, whole food, like I said, for 20 years. We use the 80-20 rule. We're not perfect, but when I'm under extreme stress, before I had my PQ practice, that I knew how to manage the stress, I would get very sick. And I'm talking like adrenal fatigue sick, in bed sick. So I know that what stress can do to us, the emotional stress that can develop into the physical. So that's the amazing part of the actual physical health benefits from managing our emotional health and staying in a positive mindset. And this is probably the most incredible success story. I couldn't believe it when she shared this with me. This is one of my clients. I did not work with her from a physical health perspective, so I wasn't doing wellness. Most everyone comes in to me as a naturopath from a physical perspective, but I do have them go through the emotional, just because I know it's so important to their success and to get results faster. So Michelle says, last year this time her doctor recommended an echocardiogram due to the swoosh she had detected since back in every year since 2020. The echo showed she had 2 leaky valves in her heart, not severe enough for surgery, but enough to require monitoring. On Tuesday, there was no swoosh, nothing, along with my labs approved to my 2019 levels. I give the glory to God and to you and to the PQ rewiring of my brain to reduce the stress. I didn't even ask her to write this. She just sent this. And I was, like I said, I was blown away. She hasn't made any other changes. And I knew she hadn't, because I worked with her. She took the 8-week program, and then she went right into, we did like a 6-month follow-up where, she continued to do her PQ practice, and I supported her and a group of people on a regular basis. So she had about, probably 8 months of this work. And this is the result. So I think that's just absolutely incredible, and a testimony to, positive and positive intelligence. And here's my before and after. So again, I showed you the before. My after, I just took this yesterday. I thought, I haven't done this for quite a while. The last I tested, I think I was in the 70s. So my score as of yesterday was 92%, and that's preparing for this. So I feel that was pretty darn good. If I could come out, yay. Yeah, thanks, Meg. So again, will this change? Yes. But like I said, I would have never seen this score back, in 2023 when I started this. So again, just a testimony to, you do the work, it will happen. So business and life application. So how I incorporate this, as I said, I have my clients complete the PQ assessment before a discovery call. Because number one, it gives them aha moments. So if they don't work with me, I feel I've given them value, and I've given them a gift of recognizing where they're struggling. So that's number one. If I'm hiring a team member, a contractor, like a VA, before the interview, I always ask them if they'd be willing to do a positive intelligence assessment. So again, I could see where they're at. If I have my choice between somebody coming in at 90 and somebody coming in at 30, unfortunately, it's like probably going to take the more optimistic person, just because they're going to be able to go with the flow in a pretty stressful environment, learning a new job, things like that. So it does help you vet as well. Coaching clients, they come into me, like I said, physical health, I still put them through 6 weeks of the positive intelligence program. Spouses, significant others, absolutely do this. Share the link with your spouse, have them take the test, talk about it. I swear, nothing against therapy. We have done, we did like the marriage counseling. We did that for a while, way back when. But now, as of Saturday, we'll be married 23 years. So I think we're doing pretty well. And so that will only enhance your relationship, and do so many great things for your physical health, of course. So as this is a quote from Shazad Shamin, and I'm going to show you, this is the book. If you want to just get the book, that would be great. If you're a coach, I don't know if they still do this, and if Jen's still on, she may know, and she can put in the chat that they used to allow grants for coaches, that they would allow you to go through the program and train you. Again, I don't know if they still do that, but that's what I was able to do. So this book, I highly recommend it. And if you have a saboteur, you can schedule a free session with me. And if you've done your test, and I will go over, I take your number one saboteur and just kind of walk you through, if how, share with me how that's impacting your life, and maybe how I can just give you a few insights on some quick things you can do, or, if you want to learn more about the program, absolutely. So I offer that to any coaches or anyone that wants to learn more. So, you can't control the wind or the waves, but you can adjust your sails. It's totally how we respond to life. So anyways, with that, I wish you ease and flow in the go, go, go. Life is crazy out there, right? We're going, sometimes it feels like 100 miles an hour with technology, with our businesses. And like I said, if there's any way I can help you, either, physically or mentally, emotionally, I would love to do that. And you can, if you want to scan the QR code and schedule a free call, I'm happy to walk you through your assessment. And that's about 30 minutes, and you'll have additional insights there. And yeah, I think that is it for me. And if you're interested in going through the program, it's usually a $990, I think it's a $995 I do like a 7-ish week long. Some do 6, I do 7. And that's if you register within the week, that you'll get 50% off that program. So it's a great, great offer. And I'll start, the next program will be in the middle of October. So you've got time to prepare, but like I said, the offer will be good for the next 7 days if you decide to jump in, and we can get you some tools and get you started on your journey. So happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much. Again, congratulate yourself and celebrate being here, that you took the time and the energy, or if you're watching it on the replay, really truly celebrate that you came here and you're investing in yourself and your health and your clients' health, and how you can better support them. So thank you again. And thank you, Michelle and Alternative Balance, for supporting us here.
Thank you. That was awesome. It's fascinating.
It really.
Does anybody have any questions?
Just to clarify, Bonnie, by the way, great job.
Oh, thank you. Jen is my hero here. She's one of my mentors.
Thank you. Did you want me to put the link to the coach grant program in the chat?
That would be awesome. Yeah, if we can gift that to people. We're not gifting it, but Shirzad and his team are. Yeah, if there's a way to do that, yes, that would be awesome. Because like I said, that was the best gift I ever had as a coach, is to go through that program. So thank you. And Jen is a fantastic. Jen's the one I was referring to earlier, who I heard her speak, and I called her immediately and said, I want to hire you because she's awesome. She's a burnout coach specialist. She also has PQ training as well. So phenomenal combination of talents and skills, and a huge heart. So thank you, Jen.
Thank you for the shout out. And I also just want to clarify, I think they are starting a new cohort soon for the coaches grant. But if you go through this link, you don't necessarily, like, you kind of go through it by yourself. You can create your own pod, but you don't get the support where, like, if you were going through the program with Bonnie, she's sitting there supporting you and really explaining things and helping you really integrate a lot better than going through it by yourself. So if you're not a coach looking at certification, totally go with Bonnie.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for clarifying that. Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Megan, go ahead. You can.
So it's really sweet to hear you talk about Jen that way, because that's how I feel about you.
Oh,
You have so much information, so much good stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to listen to her. Just like, you could just keep talking. I just listened to you forever.
Oh,
So much
thank-
wisdom. And so I definitely want to sign up, and I'm not sure, can the link be put in a chat or emailed to me, or?
Yes, I'll have to email you the link. So just email me. Yeah, I was gonna get that together, but that didn't happen, but I was okay
Great.
with
And you
that.
know what? Thank you so much for the discount.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I got so choked up when I saw what the price was compared to $9.95. So grateful for that. Really
yes.
appreciate your kindness. Thanks.
Yep. Absolutely. Like I said, we're coaches and I want to serve you guys because I know, like I said, you're a coach, you're in here, you're doing the work and yeah, just it's nice to be able to give back a little bit. So yep, so just email me if you like I said, if you want to learn more or get started or schedule a free call, I am here for you. So any last questions? You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks, Lisa, for being here. Appreciate it. Let's see
Bonnie, if
if
you want to maybe write up something and I can send it out to all the registrants, you
Okay.
know, like with all the links and everything that they need.
Yes, I will do that. I will
And then I'll
definitely.
send the replay too. Yeah, with that.
Okay, excellent. See if there's
Yeah.
any.
And
other questions.
I was taking notes when you held up the book. So even just like, I didn't even see the name of that because I was jotting something down. So that would be
So
great to include in that. Thanks.
absolutely. I
Okay,
will put, yep, I will put that.
great.
That's a great idea. So, okay, okay. Well, thanks everyone for the shout out. Glad you enjoyed it. And I hope this, like I said, just take advantage. If you haven't taken the free PQ test, take 5 minutes. I just highly encourage you. It is definitely enlightening. I'll just say that in many, many ways. So, and Jen has seen me evolve, I'm sure, like a lot. So like I said, she's a great, anybody experienced burnout, needs support. She's a great resource as well. So very blessed for the resources that I've had through and met through AB. So, well, thanks everyone. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And like I said, just thanks again for being here and congratulations and celebrate your investment in your health being here. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.